Life cycle of a hookworm in pigeon. We'll get David to do that. Well, if we start from the egg, is that generator all right?
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's a pretty consistent sound throughout the whole thing.
The whole thing, the constant thrum of the generator. Let's start from the egg. The eggs are laid by the female hookworm in the small intestine. They pass down the gut and passed out in the feces. To develop, they need to be deposited on the ground, on the soil. They need the right temperature, which is around between 20 and 30 degrees centigrade. And they need quite a good level of humidity because dehydration kills them. As you can imagine, the Solomons is a perfect place for hookworm. By STH we mean parasitic worms that can only be transmitted through the soil. This includes roundworm, hookworm and whipworm.
Yeah, so I'm Rick Spear. I'm a public health physician and with many hats. And my role in this project is I'm a parasitologist. Medical parasitologist is one of my skills. So I provide that parasitological sort of expertise. Now David's got the laboratory side, but I've got knowledge on more sophisticated knowledge than he has. So we work together. We work together very nicely. And my role is in the community is to almost act as an expert, international expert, which gives the project status. So, for example, I'll give a lecture to a community, and Humphreys could very easily give the lecture, but it's better if I give the lecture and then Humphreys builds on it. I think my impression is that raises the status of the project if someone comes in who's regarded as a big man in the field. And so I go along, play the game, knowing full well that Humphreys could probably do a much better job than I could, but it works. We work together really well, and Humphreys is very knowledgeable.
Our STH team is a really interesting team because it's not a typical team that do these types of surveys. So we have Humphreys is like the head of the team. Humphreys is a nurse with a master's in medical education, and he's head of the Atawifi College of Nursing as part of the Pacific Adventist University. He's basically the leader and leads the community interaction, and then facilitates a lot of the sort of higher level activities and does coding in communities and things like that.
Okay. And what's happening here in Marovo?
We are doing STH survey here in Marovo Island, they call it. And it has 3 villages, but we managed to do only 2 village restaurants. We collect poo and look for worms within the pools here.
Okay. And this is your home?
This is my home village.
It must be nice doing this sort of work in your home, your place of birth.
That's right. I'm very happy that this survey can be done in the 2 villages here in Marovo, to help reduce the number of worms in my community. We were here at the end of 2014, December, with David and Rick, and we gave awareness on SDH on two villages, Sasagana and Chea. And after the presentation or the awareness, people in the community requested if we could come and do the actual survey to find out which type of worms exist around this area. So that's how we come and do this survey at the end of or beginning of 2016. Research in the Solomon Islands is fairly a new thing to our communities and throughout the Solomons. Not very many people are familiar with what research is and know what research is all about. But recently, Atoifi Adventist Hospital has a research team to conduct health research in the communities, and so people start to to understand what research is all about and the importance of research to the society. Research can help the leaders to make important right decisions when it comes to improving health standard in the two villages, because the outcome will inform our rules and also inform the decision that our leaders will do in terms of public health here in the two villages. And also research can also help us, especially the data can help us to draw up a proposal and apply for grants so that we can repair or build toilets, repair or build our water supplies, etc. here in the two communities.
My name is David McLaren. I'm a senior research fellow at James Cook University in Cairns, and I've been working here in the Solomon Islands for the last 22 years, and am here to help out Humphreys Harrington from Atuifi Hospital with the parasite survey that we're doing here at the moment.
Okay, and what is the parasite survey?
Yep. Over the last couple of years, we have been building a team of people at Atuifi Hospital on East Malaita to be competent in doing village-based parasite surveys, mainly around soil-transmitted helminths, which are common in the Solomon Islands. And Humphreys has requested that we come here to Marovo Lagoon in Western Province to do some surveys in a few villages here on Marovo Island. And so what we are doing is coming here to help him out as a general part of the capacity building process that he and his group have got together at Atuifi Hospital. So a lot of research teams will want to come in and to conduct a survey, which is great, and evidence is really important to inform programs. However, what we're really committed to is capacity building at all levels for health research. So what that means is working with Humphreys and his team at Atuifi to build their skills and to support their skills in all aspects of the survey. So that is the collecting the specimens, being able to process them, being able to screen those with the microscope, and to be able to feed back the results. One of the unique things, I guess, that we do is we do that out here in the villages. And so for the last couple of days we've been doing some training with about 25 or 26 local people from two villages that we are actually conducting the survey in, and we've done a couple of days on the theory and the practice of running parasite surveys at the community level. What we've done is opened up the training to any young people or not so young people who want to come, and so these are people who have come of their own free will to be able to do that, and it's been really great. Lots of people are very enthusiastic, and I've actually been pleasantly surprised at how enthusiastic people have been to engage with the survey. Sometimes working with human waste is not the most glamorous thing to do, but a lot of people have actually been very enthusiastic, and then when we find some of the eggs of those parasites in the human waste, there's actually quite a lot of excitement when everybody wants to come and have a look at the eggs and be able to identify what kind of parasite it is that's in those specimens. Well, I guess at the very core what we're looking for is parasite eggs.
Yeah.
And so what we'll do is collect feces specimens from people in the communities, take those specimens here, process those through a very basic process that we can be done here in the field, and then look at that specimen under the microscope. Under the microscope we're able to have a look at the different types of eggs that the parasites actually produce in our intestine, and then we pass them out in our feces. And so just getting a small amount of feces, we're able to then identify some of those eggs, and then when we can identify the eggs we can identify what type of parasite is in those people's bodies. What that means is that we're able to understand A, what type of parasite is prevalent here, and B, the intensity, or that is how many parasites are actually in people's bodies. So in a specimen where there's a lot of eggs, there'll be a lot of worms. In a specimen with only a few eggs, there'll only be a few worms. That's really important from a public health perspective, because if we know that in the village there's a lot of people who have a high level intensity of worms in their stomach, then that means that the transmission will be very efficient, because more eggs are released into the environment to pass on to other people. So from a public health perspective it's really important to understand both, one, what the parasite is here, and two, the intensity. The really great thing about doing a survey here at the village level is that in a couple of days' time, once we've done a couple of 100 specimens and we know what type of worm and how many worms there are, then we can immediately feed back those results, and the community leaders in these villages are quite keen to get the results, because that then can inform programs that they're able to do in their village for water or sanitation, hygiene, or mass drug administration if that's needed. And so there's a really great enthusiasm, not only by people who have come to the training, but by village leaders in these two villages to use the evidence from this survey to directly improve the conditions in their villages.
What I'd like to mention is that this is quite an important survey, because the survey that the Atawifi group have done surveys that we've done before have always been in East Koya. We started doing surveys in East Koya around Atawifi, and then we moved further out to East Malaita when we surveyed Koi Nomasilla, but still on Malaita. But this survey is in Western Province in a completely different area. So one of the things we're trying to do is to establish Atawifi's reputation as a group that does these STH surveys throughout the Solomon Islands. So, for example, if the government's thinking of doing surveys in Choiseul, for example, rather than calling on a university group from Australia, they can call on the Atawifi STH group, and they'll go across and do the survey in Choiseul. So this is like the first expedition from outside Malaita, the first survey done by this group outside Malaita, and it's working along quite well, and people are gaining skills. So I think the same model would work in other places in the Solomons. So what we've got to do is to convince the government that Atawifi STH group is capable of doing these surveys and can do them very well and can do them competently. And I think we can do that. And so it'll be Solomon Islanders doing STH surveys for Solomon Islanders rather than people coming in from outside.
Me, name Dorothy. Me come here because lo training lo Atawifi when me attend him. Somehow put in lo di sala join him na di sekolah training, and then all picking me for me come work one time hotel or sekolah workshop tas tawa me come and end up lo yellow maro.
Look at that. Look at that.
What was the problem with that?
There's nothing there. They're not being generous enough.
They're holding back.
If you're going to give, don't hold back. Just really short. So obviously there wasn't much there. That was it.
Firstly, the community wants the program, the survey to be carried out, and then we get the total population of the village, and we were supposed to randomly pick the names, but the village people said no, we don't want that. They want us to just pick from each families, maybe 1 or 2 members of each families, and to get 100 sample. And so that's what we did in the community, in the 2 communities. And after that, we distributed bottle based on their request. Those who wants to be tested, we give them bottles and their codes. We basically send our OBM banana boat to the communities and collect samples every morning at this 8 a.m., 12 midday, and in the evening each day. There are central places that we marked, and we put black plastic bags, and those people who live near those positions, they went and dropped the bottles there, and we collect those bottles in the various sites in each village.
So already you come collect na eh?
Yeah.
What time you come in this one?
6 o'clock this morning,
Okay.
and now ini garam lebet luck.
Yes.
Sample fish pas lo nih.
Okay. So you will come give him out how many bottles of money?
We not really sure how much fit, but 3 bottles at least. No, 1 full house or something.
Okay.
For western region.
Oh, so this is Western
Yeah, western region.
zone, yeah?
West zone.
West zone.
Olives. Right.
Ilukos yung waka, baru video na man.
At na. Kolektor naman.
Okay.
Isa label milo. Tayo kolektor.
So at kolem, tayo collect na.
Yeah, tayo kolektor. Specialized mo tayo kolektor.
Oh.
7,
7,
8,
8,
9.
9.
Finish.
Oh, we have 9.
9 fish.
9 fish. 9 fish.
9 fish for Humphreys. Okay. Hope for luck tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Okay. We go.
Okay.
Next place.
Your plastic.
To begin with, they were a little bit, unwilling because they, it's their first time. But after 1 or 2 days, the people just come out and request for bottles, especially those that are not, in the first 100 sample.
So David, what's going on?
this morning the generator's packed up and we've got 7 microscopes with us. 5 run on power and these 2 microscopes run on battery. They've been converted to run on a little battery pack. So there's 4 AA batteries in there, and so Dorothy and I are keeping going because we have got these battery packs on these microscopes. So one of the guys from the next village is a mechanic, so he's just come to help fix up the generator. But in the interim, Dorothy and I are continuing to do our work and ticking along.
Okay. Problems of working in the Solomons.
There's always having plan A and plan B and plan C. Yeah.
Okay. Tantawari patawalun sunavian hawura pota. Te radio.
Radio kita ke betul. Dia sudah cukup pada ini. Kawan tu nak kami nak cari dia mana. Kat belum sudah.
Hai kare, kami solan.
Cantika.
Canji wala na ko.
Belum kena tu salai, cuma kuliah orang belum lain na betul. Pula papetan tanda ko ni mang mango nang mang tai tingin ka. No.
Ana mang mango mi akar ma. Tawa o mi papet sabata. Tawa ito jinam chama takar macho.
Pula ya pula kompru mele nata chamba bai.
Ese pula ya.
Tiang tiwa dia nak kamera me pala la tak karna. Harau to ani.
Oh. Okay.
Did you see it actually doing a poo? Might be urinating.
Can you explain what you're doing?
Well, we're looking for dog shit. The reason is that dogs can potentially carry one species of hookworm, and we know this species is present in the Solomon Islands. That's Ankylostoma solanicum, but we don't know whether it's present in dogs. There's 2 strains of Ankylostoma solanicum, one that goes totally in humans, and another one that crosses from dogs, humans and cats. So we found another species in dogs in Solomons, Ankylostoma caninum, but this one is to try and see if we can find Ankylostoma solanicum in dogs, and if that's the case, it complicates hookworm control, because then you have to treat dogs and cats at the same time as you treat humans. So we received a report that a dog had shat in this area, so now we're conducting a detailed survey to try and find the dog shit. Such is the life of a parasitologist. Looks like it's going to be unrewarding. We'll now set a tail on the dogs to follow them around the island.
I'm trying to redeem myself from that pig up in the middle of the bush.
Poor David. I think we'll have to have lessons on the shape of a dog when they're defecating and urinating. When they're urinating, when they're defecating. Oh.
What's going on? What happened?
We're trying to find some feces here, dog feces. Where is it?
Up there, where your hand is.
Oh, here it is. Where are? There was a report of a dog passing feces and then possibly he ate it. It's gluten, gelatinous. So we'll investigate this phenomenon. You never know what might turn up here. I think we're on the cutting edge.
Yep, because it would be good for us to finish everything completely before you move.
Okay.
Because
What is it?
afternoon by you here,
Well,
then what evening you
it's
so
mucus with a lot of red cells. This dog is possibly going to die if we don't get it treated.
That can be helped.
It's got a heavy hookworm infection. Yeah, this has got hookworm eggs in it. I think, or white cells. Yeah, this dog's in strife. It's got a heavy hookworm infection. It's probably a parasite called Ankylostoma caninum. The dog gave birth to 5 puppies. 3 have died already. And what happens with Ankylostoma caninum is that the infective larvae pass across to the pups in the milk. They infect the pups, and then as they get bigger, well, they suck blood, but as they get bigger they suck more and more. And you'll find with these puppies, they'll grow weaker and weaker as they become anemic, and all of a sudden they'll just collapse, because all of a sudden the loss of blood gets so extreme that they either die from cardiac failure or from exsanguination. What I can see here is this is mucus from the dog's bowel, and it's got a lot of white cells in it, but also red cells. We need to treat this dog, but we haven't got any medicines, which is unfortunate. The treatment for the soil transmitted helminths is albendazole, and it's quite effective, particularly against hookworm and roundworm.
It's not so effective against trichuris, but whipworm, but it does decrease it. One of the problems that we're facing is that the Solomon Islands Health Department is unfortunately a bit disorganised. So last year in August, the whole country ran out of albendazole, and unfortunately the same things happened at this time. So the people who participate and they're positive for hookworm, we would give them albendazole to get rid of that hookworm, and then maybe when things have been organised, maybe a week later or 2 weeks later, we would actually treat everyone in the village. So even though a person didn't participate in the survey, they can still have the benefits of the village being involved. And if you treat a village, if they've got hookworm or roundworm, and you treat the village, but nothing else changes, typically what happens is that the prevalence of worms falls quite dramatically after treating, but then people get reinfected from the environment, so it'll come back up.
So why are you working in torchlight? Oh, the generator's off. No generator, and I want to see what I'm doing. Makes sense. Torchlight. That's why. I'm just preparing specimens for DNA to try and identify the species. The species of hookworm.
Look directly, yep. Yep. Left. Right. Yep. Forward. The one beside it. No. In the middle. In the middle of those two. Where your finger is, that one. No. Beside it. That one, yes.
Like a village idiot. Can't follow simple instructions.
One of my favourite songs, Van Morrison. You know that Van Morrison song?
No.
Village Idiot?
No?
You know Van Morrison?
Yes.
He's got this very cool song called Village Idiot.
Really?
He actually says that the village idiot is the happiest person in the village. And yeah, it's just it's a very cool kind of Irish way that he sings.
Like a parasitologist in poo.
Yep, happy, and life is simple, but life is good, basically, for the village idiot. It's a very kind of, I like the sentiment of it.
Like the sentiment.
Yeah.
Yeah, we started doing this program in East Coyo, and so what we did was the same sort of thing: work with the community, do a survey for soil transmitted helminths, then give the information back to the community, and then discuss with the community what they can do to manage it. The community there that did the most was our community, and we helped them write, using the results from the surveys, we helped them write an application for funding for toilets, and they got those toilets. And they're yet to install them, But what they did is they modified their community. They were very surprised by the fact that they had such a high level of hookworm. So after we had a lot of discussions with them, they just went ahead and drained the community. They reorganised things, they put in paths, and the community went from appearing to be a bit shambolic to being very well organised, and they now talk about now being a model village. So it seems that they developed a lot of community pride initially from doing this survey and then from responding to it and making changes in their village. So one of the reasons we like to involve local people in terms of doing the laboratory work and doing the survey work is that it's a good way of them understanding about gutworms and soil transmitted helminths, and a lot of the information spreads by word of mouth. So here, for example, in Marovo, we've had about 20 local people coming along, and they get a very good understanding of what these worms are and how they work and why you do the various tests. I can tell that by the questions they ask. They ask really penetrating questions that show that they actually understand what's going on and they're thinking deeply about it. So those people will then go back to their village and they'll talk to others about soil transmitted helminths, and the message will get out.
We went to Chair yesterday and gave a short health talk about STH and give back the results, and they were so happy. They were so happy with what we've done, and the same with Sasagana. Sasagana, we went there and give the talk and give the result back to the community. We received a lot of questions up to 10 p.m. last night. So one thing that comes out very clear from the community was the survey part of the program. Community cannot do that, and so only our team can do that. So they said they were so privileged to have this kind of team coming to the village. So the feedback was really very encouraging, and we are happy because they appreciate the work that our team do to the two communities.
Earlier today we've been talking about both the opportunities and challenges of doing research in the Solomon Islands and the amazing successes that we've been having, and we've been constantly learning how to do research both at Atuifi and in villages. And one of the challenges that we have had is with our terminology. And for the last couple of years we've been describing what we've been doing as research projects. Sometimes we call them studies, but sometimes we call them research projects. And that's been really problematic because in the Solomon Islands, when people hear the word project, immediately people start thinking about money, because projects are always linked with projects that politicians do in villages or in communities, or non-government organisations, or something external, and it's always got money attached to it and resources attached to it. And so the expectation of people is that if you're involved with a project, there's always going to be money, and quite often there are people who abuse that system and illegitimately are able to siphon some of that money. And so there's been maybe not a negative expectation, but a unrealistic expectation that our research projects were actually a way of making money. I mean, as you know, research is not a way of getting rich. We actually struggle for funds. And so we've been in our workshops trying to explain to people that research is not a way of getting money. Indeed, if you want to make money, don't do research, do other things, because you'll get much richer doing other things. And we often struggle for funds. And over the last little while we've been thinking about other terminology in ways to do that, and just in the last couple of days I've had an aha moment, and we've just been discussing now what that might be. And here in Marovo Island, people in the villages have been describing what we've been doing is a program. People have been saying, oh, thank you for the program that you've come to run. Thank you for the program that you're doing in our village. It's great that you've come to our village to do this program. And in the community feedback, both in Chair and Sasagana, people have been standing up and saying thank you for the program. And it got me thinking that this word program in Solomon Islands English means service. And it's not connected with money, it's not connected with politicians, it's not connected with non-government organisations. It's connected to community events, benefits that people work together, and it's often used in the context of church programs. So it might be a youth program or a women's program or a family program to work together in the garden, or a family program to do something together. And so the word program has a very positive connotation, and it's about service, and it's about benefit for not one person, but it's about benefit for everybody. And so I've discussed that with Esau and others this morning about us as a team changing our terminology and not describing what we're doing as a research project, but a research program. And from a Solomon perspective, people might perceive what we're doing as fundamentally different just by changing that word from project to program. From a parasite perspective, we have found that there's only one type of soil-transmitted helminth here, that is hookworm, and that the levels are relatively modest, which is actually a really fantastic reflection on the sanitation that is already there, but also that there's a really great opportunity to work directly with leaders to actually trying to eliminate hookworm from these villages. And I think as a public health researcher, we've got a really good opportunity to be able to do that in these villages here. And so I'm looking forward to the next couple of years of working directly with these guys to see if that is indeed possible, to be able to eliminate hookworm totally from these couple of villages, which would be a great outcome for people who live in those villages, but it would also be really good evidence for other villages throughout the Solomon Islands and throughout the Pacific that in tropical environments where worms like hookworms can grow very well and transmit quite easily, that it is possible to be able to work with villages to eliminate hookworm from people who live in villages in quite remote areas.
You might do yourself out of work though, David.
The Pacific's a big place, and that there are lots of places. One of the unique things that we've found is that the pattern of parasites in each of those villages is fundamentally different, and so that's why it's really important to work with each village to actually get an understanding of A, what type of parasite is there, B, what the proportion of the different types of parasites are, and how heavy the infections are. And so the public health approaches are similar to each, but need to be a little more nuanced and sophisticated to actually reflect the type of parasites in each of those villages. And then in a place like the Solomons, there's more than 80 different languages, and so therefore 80 different cultural groups and 80 different ways of understanding and engaging with the world. And so something as intimate and as complex as defecation and disposing of human waste, it's really important to work with different people in different cultural areas to understand how to do that in a culturally appropriate way and also in an environmentally appropriate way. One of the great things about working in the Solomons is just such a fundamentally beautiful place. To be able to wake up in the morning, to be able to look out the window and look across the lagoon of perfectly flat, glass flat water with dozens of islands in the lagoon, and look into the water, it's being totally clear just walk down to the wharf, which is only 20 metres away from the house, look into the water and see coral and see fish. It's just absolutely amazing. And reflecting that is the people. People are wonderfully friendly, and when you're in genuine partnerships with people here in the Solomons and being able to work together on something that is important to us all, like human health, it's just a great thing to do. And so, although I would like to say that I do myself out of work, it's an ongoing project, an ongoing, collaboration with people in the area to look at ways of being able to dispose of human waste efficiently and effectively and environmentally and culturally appropriate, and in that way decreasing the amount of parasites that people have, and so therefore improving the health of people in those villages.
Yeah, when we did the survey last week here in Chair and Sasakana, we find a problem with the drug, the medicine especially, because no medicine in the medical store and even in other clinics around here, and so we sent Humphreys to go back to Honiara and then try to find the medicine in some other clinics in Honiara. And so therefore just last night Tommy contact Humphreys, and then Humphreys, they're saying to him that it's confirmed that Humphreys is sending the medicine with some of the Wantok coming on the boat, and so this is good. So that is why we're just waiting and just ready to collect the medicine from the boat is coming.
This afternoon we are now at Chia village, and just in the morning we came to do some awareness that we'll be come and giving out the drug to the villages, Chia and Sasagana, and this afternoon we will start to give out the drug or medicine to the village here at Chea. And so what we're going to do is we will go do it like house to house, where we will come and go to each house and give out medicine to its family, and then we'll try and explain to them, to the family, when should they get the drug. But basically, for this today and tomorrow, we'll try to distribute the drug to these 2 villages. And so this is basically what we will be going to do today. We ask those who came, from the villages, who came and attend the training. They will be helping us, doing a volunteer to help us do this work. And so they are willing, and they will come and help us distribute the drug to the villages.